everybody, Trucker John here, and welcome to the Friday meeting. Check out my new truck right there, brand new Peterbilt. Tell you what, it's a good time to work for Prime. Check me out on YouTube, Trucker John.
Good morning, everyone. Steve Field from the Prime Safety Department. As we have for each Friday here for several months now, we're coming to you from the basement of the Z building. I'm happy to say I don't think we're going to be down here much longer. We need to get out. We need to see people. Probably next Friday we'll still be down here, and then we are really hoping for June 4th that we can move back upstairs. As we mentioned before, we're trying to upgrade the meetings that we have on Friday when we go back to the cafe. We're hoping to keep the Facebook Live part going, as well as having the live studio audience right there. So that is our goal for June 4th. Andrea and Brianne have been working very hard on the technology because we want to make this good. We want to make sure that you can see it out on the road. We want to make it a good informational meeting for you. So that is our goal. I wanted to get that out first this morning. On that video, I saw John Clary there. I looked John up. John became a victim of the pandemic, COVID-19, kind of had to change his career path a little bit. And he came to us with a Class B license. We upgraded him to a Class A through our training program. He has his own truck now. He's out there. I really liked his video there. It's tough following snacks, but I think John did a good job there. So thank you for doing that, John. Got a lot of speakers today, but I do want to talk a little bit about safety first. I'd like to update you for the week, how we've done. The week hasn't been too bad. When I say that, I probably should rephrase it. All the weeks are good. You guys do a fantastic job out there. There were 3 accidents that I'm just briefly going to mention. We did have a rollover this week. Those are always disappointing, and this is not uncommon. The driver got a little bit lost or confused on his routing, ended up on a very small road, and then ultimately, due to oncoming traffic, it just didn't end well. Fortunately, he was not hurt, so that's a good thing. What we're going to do is what we always do when we find a road like that. We'll block it because that was how the routing came for him. So we'll go ahead and block that routing so we don't have any other trucks down there. Did have one minor lane change accident and one of those yellow deer, those poles at a Walmart did us in. But when you consider 16, 17 million miles, that is pretty incredible out there. And as we say each week, we are just super proud of what you're doing out there safety-wise. We could not ask for more. You just do a fantastic job out there. As I talk to people or people come into Prime for whatever reason, they always talk about our trucks, how they look out there. They're in the right lane. They're obeying the speed limit. And that's a big testament to the job you do out there. We're just super proud of you. And let's just keep doing more. So what we've got today, we haven't had our vendors in a while. So Justin Kaufman is going to introduce 4 of our vendors, give you the chance to ask them if you have a question about them. But let's just talk just for a second. Vendors, this is incredible that we have at Prime on-site vendors. The ones we're going to have today are Freightliner, Peterbilt, International, and Thermo King. And to have an on-site rep here to take care of problems, I think is fantastic. It's another benefit of being here at Prime that you have these people that are just lasered in on making sure that your equipment works and you're out there being productive. And if you have issues, this is another source of help for you. So Justin's going to talk about them. Believe it or not, you're going to say, again, we've got Sam Messick back, 3rd week in a row. And Sam's got a guest with him today. He's been promising that guest for us. And we've got Ethan Stanford from Pilot Truck Stops. I'm going to kind of talk about our partnership with Pilot and our new fuel agreement. And of course, Sam will take all your questions on fuel and things that fall under him. And we're glad to have Sam back. We haven't had an operational update in a while, so we've got Jim Wilkins, Jim Guthrie, and Brett Vonwiller today to talk to you about what's going on as we head towards Memorial Day. It's hard to believe that Memorial Day is just one more Monday away, about 8 more days, 9 days. So we're looking at that, looking at balancing, taking care of our customers and taking care of you. It's so important that you spend time with your family. And I think we've been able to show that we can get that balance of home time and earnings for you. We're in a good spot right now. The industry's in a good spot. And then, of course, we'll close out with Robert and Steve. And if they have questions, or if you have questions for them, be sure to send them in to Andrea. She's at her laptop ready to go. So I'm going to stop talking. I thank you for tuning in today. And again, June 4th is our goal. We're working very hard to have both the technology and everything set up so we can get back into the Millennium Building and be right there in front of you for those of you that are live, and for those of you that tune in remotely, we'll be there for you. So Justin Kaufman, we will have Justin come up. I think we've got a brief commercial, and then we'll get to Justin and the vendors.
Hello, good morning, and welcome. My name is Amber McLean, clinical sleep educator at Cardinal Sleep in Salt Lake City. That is right, we are now officially open. We are here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So come check us out. We have a beautiful new sleep lab. And if you are needing any new CPAP supplies, we are stocked. Lastly, if you don't mind giving us a like and a follow on our social media pages under Cardinal Sleep on Facebook and Instagram, we'll see you there.
You're good.
You're on.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm very privileged this morning to be able to introduce many of our good vendor reps out there. And, you know, these folks are ingrained into our Prime culture, into our Prime family. They know their equipment incredibly well. They're also very much connected with their dealer network out there, working with their dealers. They've got contacts and contacts with their fleet service reps in order to make things happen. And really, you know, if there's a problem with a part or a problem getting your truck or your APU in and out of a shop, you know, these are the folks that you'll want to reach out to in order to get, you know, some results. And you can reach them through your road assist advisor, through your fleet manager, through leasing. But they're here to support us. And, you know, our very first one I wanted to introduce is Philip Goller here with Thermo King. Philip is our newest on-site, fleet rep. And we hadn't had a fleet rep for Thermo King for years. And I believe it was this year whenever we brought you on board. And so, Philip, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Philip Goller. I'm with Thermo King. If you guys can hear me, I've been with Thermo King since October of 20. Came on as Prime's rep. I've been in the trucking industry pretty much all my life. Started, right out of high school as a technician. So very familiar with trucks and APUs and reefers. So I'll be the go-to guy if you have any trouble. Let's say you have a constant problem with your APU. Get a hold of your road assist guy. Give me a call. Having trouble getting into a dealer, parts issues. Just reach out to me because I can definitely help. I have a counterpart at Thermo King who's my direct contact. Very good to work with. Some of you may know Brett Minnick, but great guy, great to work for. So he's got what it takes to. If I can't figure it out, he can. So if anybody's got any questions or comments, don't feel free to reach out.
All right, thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
Next up, I'm going to bring up Chad Taylor. And Chad actually started off at the Summit International Tractor Shop, working as a technician. And we were really thankful to bring his experience into our fleet vendor rep role. And we're thankful to have him on board here at Prime. So go ahead, Chad.
Good morning, everybody. Happy to be here. I onboarded as a Prime rep right at the outset of the pandemic, so I haven't had the opportunity to be on site yet, but we're working back that direction. Like Justin said, I've been with the dealership for quite a long time, started my career there, came right out of high school, right out of tech school, was a factory trained technician for 20 years. So I have a real good idea of how your truck works. So if you have any questions, need anything, don't think you're getting equitable treatment at a dealer out on the road, if you need help looking over a bill or an estimate, please reach out through your road assist, through your driver manager, through leasing. Everybody knows how to get a hold of me. I'm just here to support you, keep you on the road, and do have some good contacts across the country, even at Navistar. So if people don't want to listen to me and get you moving, we have other people that can help. So please just reach out anytime.
All right. Thank you, Chad. Next up is Van Gertner. And many of you, Van's been here for a while. Many of you who operate Peterbilt trucks are probably very familiar with him. I know he's got a lot of our operators' cell phone numbers and truck numbers logged into his cell phone. And I can tell you that Van was emailing me as late as 9:30 last night. It's not that uncommon for us to have conversations about trucks being down or, out of service or needing parts or service, late at night or on the weekend. So Van, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Van Gertner. So I started with the Larson Group of 2004. I've been here on site with Prime 8 years, going on 8 years. Happy to be here, always happy to be here. And we are very ingrained in the Prime's culture. everything. Y'all keep us like family here. So we're here to help you. If you need us, give us a holler. Road Assist has my number. Leasing has my number. If you need to get a hold of me, there are plenty of ways to get a hold of me. Send in questions, and Andrea can send them to us after this if anybody's got stuff they need dealt with. But we're here to help you. Just let us know what we need to do and when.
All right, fabulous. And last but not least is Jeff Waara. Jeff Waara he's been here almost the longest, I believe, of all of our on-site reps and on the truck side. And Jeff does a fabulous job working with the Freightliner dealer network out there, work for Premier Truck Group. And so, go ahead, Jeff.
All right. Morning. Now, some of you may not recognize me, but I got what I call my quarantine beard going. I do have a lot of kids come up to me and want to tell me what they want for Christmas these days, But yeah, I've been here a little bit over 9 years, and the reason I'm here is for you, to support you. So if you need to get into a shop, if you need me to call a shop to get you in quicker, if you have a warranty issue that a shop is saying that it's not warranty, parts, I've got connections all the way up with Daimler to help you get parts. I can get them from the other shops, whatever you need. You can always contact me, because whether I'm here or whether I'm at home, the phone will ring to my cell phone. So I'm always available. Road Assist can always get a hold of me. Whatever you need, we're here for. And just so you know, here recently, Springfield Freightliner has transitioned over to Premier Truck Group. Now, we're not going to change the good service we're giving to you. It may even get a little bit better. It'll help me with contacts even at other Premier Truck Groups out there. So it's actually a positive. So we're here for you. Whatever you need, do not hesitate.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. And there are a few reps I want to bring up who are missing today. Andy Bell is our carrier rep. He's out in California working with some container units today. And then we also have Stephanie, who is our TA Petrol rep, but all of these folks are here to help support you and get any repeat problems or any issues taken care of. Thank you.
Prime drivers deliver for America, and we deliver for them at our new Salt Lake City facility with training and equipment, access to fitness, healthcare, and more. Because here at Prime, our drivers are our family. Join the Prime family today.
I want to thank our vendors for being here. I know Jeff and Van probably the best since they've been here the longest. And I can tell you, and Justin mentioned that, they are truly part of the Prime family. They're dialed into the Prime culture. They want to do whatever it takes to get you moving. Sometimes we have this expression, don't be a victim. If there's something wrong, that means something's wrong. We need to get it fixed. We shouldn't have repeat problems. We shouldn't be fixing the same thing again and again. And sometimes we need to elevate that problem. So do not hesitate to use these folks. We're just super proud that they're here with us, and we want to use their expertise to make sure we're keeping you moving. In a perfect world, you'd only see them at a Prime function, but if you need them, let's go ahead and use the expertise that these guys bring with us. So again, thanks to those vendors for being here this morning, and to Justin Kaufman. As I mentioned, we've got Sam Messick back, third week in a row. Keep those questions coming. I saw a question up there on fuel tax. I think Sam's going to be ready to take care of that one. So Sam, I'll ask you and Ethan to come on up and take it from there.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Steve. We'll give Ethan a second to get mic'd up and over here. But so for those of you who don't know Ethan Stanford is our rep with Pilot Flying J. He's a big dog over there. So he does a great job in servicing our business, and really just an enjoyable guy to work with. We always have a good time whenever we're negotiating and working on problems together. So Ethan, thanks for coming down, coming from Nashville yesterday to see us. Just a couple questions I was going to ask you. There's lots of stuff going on at Pilot Flying J all the time. I know you guys are the largest truck stop network in the United States. You guys are constantly growing that, but recently you've been making some changes within your network. I believe the 1.9 network is what you're calling it, right? So we get a lot of questions from operators about what is the 1.9 network? Why is Pilot, going this way with some of these stops and stuff? So could you maybe just explain a little bit what you guys' philosophy is with the 1.9 network and where you see that heading over the next year or two?
Well, thanks, Sam. One, thank Prime for allowing us to be here today. Two, we're glad to renew our partnership. with Prime and the professional drivers across the network. But to Sam's point, we are the largest travel center network in the U.S. We have about 1,000 locations. About 750 of those, Sam, are travel centers. About 250 of those, what we call our 1-9 network. And some people might say, well, what's the difference? The traditional Pilot and or Flying J travel centers are what we call sort of our brand that we really have the national accounts like Prime going to. Over the last couple of years, we've had a request from some of our smaller fleets, 2 to 4 trucks, owner-operators, that we like to fuel at a Pilot type atmosphere, but we don't have the discounts that say a Prime might have. So what we did from customer questions, Sam, is we created a 1-9 network where it might be some of our Speedway locations, some of our Mr. Fuel locations, some of our Express Fuel locations, where we still supply the fuel to them, but they actually manage and operate their store, and we price it. So retail-wise, we price our 1-9 network about 10 cents below our traditional Pilot and Flying J locations, but most of those customers don't receive discounts. So it's a way to give them a benefit of the network without having to provide them with Prime-type pricing at our traditional Pilot and Flying J locations.
And these are smaller fleets, right? So really getting them out of the large facilities should be a benefit to our operators in that it's less traffic through the bigger larger parking, locations and stuff that we would utilize on a daily basis.
Well, I like how great minds think alike, Sam, but that's exactly true.
Ethan sold me on this a while ago, so, as you can tell.
we have obviously some larger travel centers out there, but then we have some smaller operations like the 1-9 network. They traditionally have 6 to 8 lanes versus 12 to 20 fuel lanes. They traditionally don't have the shower network that we have. They traditionally don't have the restaurants that we have or the beverage options or food options that we have. So we see it as a complement to our travel center network that is Pilot and Flying J, but it's an opportunity for some of our smaller fleets to get a little better pricing at maybe not quite the same network and pull some of that volume out of our Pilot and travel center, Flying J locations.
Makes sense. And thanks for, like I said, just something we've had some operators concerned about because they've seen certain smaller Pilot locations transition over to the 1-9 network. So we just wanted to make sure we kind of addressed in general what the philosophy was behind what Pilot is doing, and hopefully address any concerns that you all as a fleet had. One of the other things that I was going to get Ethan to address, since we've got him here, is we get questions every now and again about how does, I'm sure as many of you know, Berkshire Hathaway has purchased a large portion of Pilot Flying J and will continue to over the next, I don't know exactly the details of the deal off the top of my head, but will continue to get a larger ownership portion of the company over a period of time. Berkshire Hathaway is a company that all of us know, but Ethan, how does the acquisition, I'll call it, of larger and larger portions of ownership of PFJ by the Berkshire Hathaway Group, how does that affect our fleet? Are they going to notice a change in service? One of the things we've heard is they're concerned about the quality of the service at the locations, the cleanliness and stuff, right? Because we know Berkshire Hathaway is a big, profitable company. Are they going to change you guys' method of doing business?
A good question. To Sam's point, Warren Buffett and Berkshire bought into us 2 years ago. They bought a third of the company, basically. And in 2 years, they go to 2/3, and the Haslam family goes back to a third. If you follow Berkshire's acquisitions over the years, they traditionally never changed the management. They traditionally never changed the operating structure. They invest or purchase companies they believe are a growth company and are tuned to grow the companies like Prime. So we are very excited about the Berkshire partnership. One, anytime you have a partner, Sam, that has $100 billion in cash on the side to help you do acquisitions or build things, we'll talk about STM in a moment, Southern Tire Mart, we think it's a great opportunity. And Berkshire loves the opportunity because no matter what the energy source is, whether it's diesel, whether it's DEF, whether it's electric, whether it's hydrogen, you have to have a network to fuel the driver out there. And so we believe we're poised for great things with Berkshire in the future, and we're excited about it.
And you sat through these high-level executive meetings, right? There's no secret strategy to cut staffing and cleanliness and upgrading locations, right? That's you guys value the driver's business, I assume, and value our operators as much as we do.
Well, good point, and quite the opposite. If you look at any of the sort of the Facebook advertising out there, you look at any of the advertising in the states across the U.S., you'll see that we're actually hiring 10,000 new employees this summer. And that's to beef up what we think is going to be a surge from the COVID pandemic, hopefully breaking, and the surge of whether it's consumer traffic, whether it be commercial traffic, like the prime drivers. So we actually are excited about that. So we're investing actually more today in our stores as far as refurbishing the locations that we've already built and continue building new stores. But we're also hiring more assets, more people to help the driver hopefully bring a more friendly service to them.
Appreciate the information. That's incredible. 10,000 people. Good luck with that in the current job environment we're in. But the last thing that I wanted to kind of ask you before I give a couple updates on more specifics about our fuel agreement with Pilot Flying J is, I'm sure some folks have seen the news and have seen some changing in branding with the Southern Tire Mart at Pilot. That is a joint venture that you guys are now in with Southern Tire Mart. Could you just kind of maybe explain the size and the scope of what that partnership means for our operators, and maybe some of, I know that we all know that there's a lot of potential benefit there, potential efficiencies with our drivers being able to get repairs and fuel done at the same time. But would you mind just kind of giving us a brief overview of that?
Good question. We had a lot of our larger fleets and mid-sized fleets come to us and say, look, we buy the majority of our fuel with Pilot and or Flying J, and we'd like to get maintenance done there, or a tire change there, or a PM done there. So we entered into I'll call it the maintenance shop business a couple of years ago. I think we found out very quickly we didn't do a great job at running that network. So actually we reached out, they reached out to us. Tommy Duff and his brother own Southern Tire Mart, and they run about 140 service tire locations across the U.S. today. They're the largest Bridgestone franchisee in the U.S. So they actually took over in January of this year. We own a third of it. They own 2/3 of it. The Southern Tire Mart at Pilot. So we gave them our 34 stops to run in their network, and then they're going to build an additional 200 locations across the U.S. So with their 140 Southern Tire Mart locations today, we want to have a network of about 300 to 400 locations out there in the next 2 years.
Which is great, obviously, for our operators, because it means there's just more points of service throughout the network. There's more competition. So it should be a really good thing. And it looks like we've got some questions rolling in. So I'm going to turn this mic back over and we'll answer a few of those. I saw a question about the Pilot mobile app, Ethan.
Yes.
I know, I think it was a comment about it working part of the time. If you have an issue where it's not working, please reach out to PFJ. Has a dedicated team that will help resolve any app issues that you have. You guys' app, from what I hear from the driver base, is the best in the industry. And I know, as we look at the new partnership that we have going forward on the fuel pricing and things, that you guys plan on doing a lot of pointed marketing to our operators and stuff, offering freebies through the app and stuff. So we want to make sure it's working right for our operators. And correct, you guys have a dedicated team that handles all app issues if drivers are having a problem?
We have a digital team at Pilot Flying J. Obviously, we always want to hear driver feedback. And as the people at Prime know, I think Sam has me on speed dial. So any feedback, and we want to hear positive and negative, both what you like about things at Pilot Flying J or the mobile app, and the things that we could improve on. We hear from time to time it works great. As you said, it's the best feedback some of the drivers say in the industry. We're reserving showers on the app, things like that. And then we have issues like how can we improve it? But and it could be a certain part of the area you're in as far as cell coverage or Wi-Fi coverage on that. But we want to know that because we can't improve it unless we hear feedback from the drivers on it.
So we have a couple questions on healthy food options. Do you guys have any plans to expand your food selection at your stores?
Good question. The question was about food stores. Probably 8 months ago, we launched a program called PFJ Fresh, where we had some of the drivers more conscious about their health. So we want healthier food, salads, different type of sandwiches on that. So probably out of our 750 travel centers out there, about half of those, about 330, have what we call our PFJ Fresh menu. And if you go into those, you'll see a salad bar. You'll see items like fresh fruit on the bar. So that's a concept that we hope to expand across the network if the drivers like it and if they pick up on it as it is today. Good question.
Tony asked if Pilot is planning on adding Tesla chargers to their locations.
Well, it's funny you said asked that. One, I mentioned earlier, any energy source we were planning for. We actually have states coming to us like California and giving us grant to install EV chargers at the location. We actually have 2 installed in California as we sit here today. I can tell you that today the usage is very low, like in the 1% range of our diesel purchases. But as the states get more excited, and I'll call it more funding across the U.S., we expect to install more charging networks, not only Tesla, but other brands as well. Obviously, Ford's coming out with a network, Porsche's coming out with a network. So that's something that we're excited about.
We have a couple questions or comments about parking. Do you guys have any plans to expand parking at any of your stops?
Well, you never have enough parking, and we've got more parking spaces than anyone in the industry. We have about 80,000 parking spaces today, some larger than others. If you go some of the larger Flying J's, we have 250 to 300 parking spaces. If you have some of our pilots have 80 to 150 parking spaces. If we had more land options by the travel centers, we would buy more land. But as most of you know, especially our interstate traffic, they're landlocked. So even though if you wanted to expand the parking, you can't because there's no land to do it. But we're always looking for parking options. One thing, as far as building the 1.9 network, it gives us more parking availability out there. But anytime we build a newer store, we're trying to build a larger parking spot on that footprint.
Wilfred said, can we use the Comdata fuel card to wireless pay to fuel with the app?
I'll have to follow up on that question. Ethan's former life was as a Comdata guy, so he's probably the better equipped to answer that question. But let me follow up with you directly on that question. I just want to confirm what you're asking. And I also, as Steve mentioned, I saw a question about fuel tax. I will follow up with you as well, the operator directly that answered that question. Fuel tax can be confusing, so we want to make sure that we get you the resources you need to understand it. Andrew, was there anything else? I just had 2 more things I was going to mention,
go ahead.
and then we'll get out of your hair.
Yeah.
So as we have finalized everything as it relates to our Pilot Flying J fuel deal for the upcoming years, we have, as part of our deal with them, I'm sure most of you are familiar with their Push for Points program. So as part of our fuel deal, we have negotiated for Prime drivers that whenever you will still be on the same Push for Points program, but instead of only getting credit for fueling at 75 gallons or more, it will be based off of 50 gallons or more. So that should definitely help you get to that 4 times the points faster. I probably shouldn't say this in front of Ethan because we're showing our hand as far as how we negotiate, but we would much rather see better fuel discounting than we would points. We think that the points are valuable, but better fuel discounting is dollars in your pocket. So we really want to make sure that we're focusing on diesel discounting and yet still getting value through the points, but they come secondary to trying to get the best fuel pricing. I think you'll see once we roll out this new pricing that there's some really great diesel pricing. We have nice DEF pricing like we had for the last year or so. So I think you'll find it as a benefit, even if the points aren't, what you had hoped they would be. I think they'll still be really strong and you'll enjoy the deal. I did see a comment too about where are we at with Loves and TA Petro? We are working through the process of, making sure that we can get them fuel volume wherever it makes sense for us while still maintaining, a great partnership with Pilot Flying J as the folks that have really stepped up and given us the best fuel pricing across our network. So we will have more information on that in the coming weeks as we get some deals lined out with those folks that kind of align with what we're trying to do with Pilot Flying J. But that was everything I had for now.
Did you answer the one about the nozzles?
Yeah, actually, I've gotten a couple questions at times about the fuel nozzle size at Pilot Flying J locations being different than at the other truck stop chains, and us having issues with getting that nozzle into our reefer fuel tank specifically. Ethan was not aware of that issue. He had never heard that issue before, so he's going to do some research for us. He's going to do some hands-on research on his way back to Kansas City today and figure out what's going on there. And I'm sure you'll follow up with me if you find out an issue and we can address it.
That's why, Sam, these meetings are so great because you hear sometimes some things you have never heard before. That one about our nozzle size being different from Love's or TA, I've never heard before. So one, I like it because two, there's opportunity to say what's going on here, right? So actually, I told Sam, I flew into Kansas City last night and drove down to Springfield last night, but I passed a Love's and a Pilot and a Flying J on the way down here. So going back, whether it's tonight or in the morning, I'm going to actually stop at those locations, do a little, as Sam said, hands-on investigation, because now I'm curious about that. But I've never heard that, but great question.
We have a couple questions about the pumps timing out. Why do 90% of the time the pump times out when fueling the refrigerated units when trying to top off the refrigerator until it got cut off? And then somebody else.
If that's happening, if pumps are timing out, please contact the fuel desk, and they need to they'll get in contact with me, and we will work with PFJ directly to see what exactly is causing that to happen. Sometimes it can be a timing limit at the location level. Sometimes it can be something else that's causing the problem. So please give those situations to us. And anything like that, if there's a pain point that you're experiencing over the road, like, it's great that you're asking now, but please feel free to call the fuel desk at any time. We'd love to get that resolved before it becomes a major pain point for you.
Wilfred said, will the fuel discounts apply for Canada Pilot locations?
Well, there are deals with the Canada Pilot locations. They're obviously not as aggressive as down here in the U.S. I'm from Canada, so everything costs more up there, I can tell you that. But yes, there will be discounts at those locations, just not nearly as aggressive as down here in the States. But I know we've taken up a ton of time. Ethan, do you maybe have any final thoughts for the fleet? Any words of thanks for our operators or anything you wanted to say?
Well, I just tell the drivers, you work for a great company. Robert Lowe and his team is a great leadership team at Prime. And Pilot is excited to be, once again, the preferred partner for the Prime drivers across the U.S.
Well, thank you very much, Ethan, for being here, and we look forward to the partnership.
Thank you.
Can tell that fueling, truck stops, that's an emotional issue. There were some questions there we probably didn't get to. Some we may need to respond to individually. Andrea and Mitch will go through those. We do owe you an answer on those. Prime carries a pretty big stick in the trucking market and Pilot wants to make this work. So keep those questions coming, keep those concerns coming, and we want to make this as good a program for you as we can. Before operations comes up, I do want to cover two things I saw pop up on the questions there. One's kind of a tricky one, and I think it was, what's truck availability? Well, that's a good question. It changes every day. It changes from week to week. What I'll say is that it's always a moving target. It seems we go from, we got a lot of trucks, we need to get folks into upgrade, to slow down the upgrades. Truck availability has slowed down, and there's a lot of outside factors. And right now, one of the biggest ones is the production of trucks. It has slowed down. In some cases, it has stopped. What my recommendation is to you is work very closely with your fleet manager. They will know when a truck is available for you. We are very aware of second seat pay. We're constantly looking at that. So work with your fleet manager, and if you want to upgrade, we will get you upgraded as soon as we can without having you come in and sit and wait for a truck. That doesn't do anyone any good. Second thing, I saw a couple of comments about the Greyhound bus station. I think we were kind of caught by surprise on that too, that they closed a very convenient one here on Kearney. They haven't closed. What they've done is they put it out on the west side of town, actually at the end of Chestnut and 44. I don't know why they did that. I will get with Bill and security and see what we're doing as far as the shuttles go. I do see a lot of people when I go by there at that, and it's not even a bus stop. It's a little disappointing. You may recall, though, that recruiting's been working very aggressively as we bring new folks in to try to go the rental car route. But like everything during the pandemic, now rental cars are in short supply, so we've got some challenges there. But if we're bringing you in to work at Prime, to drive one of our trucks, we certainly can trust you with a rental car. So that is the direction we're moving. But like everything, there's been a few hiccups, and we'll get information on what's going on with Greyhound and how we're going to get you from that somewhat like bus station out there here to the terminal. We'll get some information for you on that. Going to talk about operations next. I will ask each of our operations guys to kind of talk about their thoughts about Memorial Day coming up as far as servicing customers and getting you home. We're going to start with Tanker. So I'll ask Brett Vonwiller to come up, please. Brett.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am Brett Vonwiller. I work up in our tanker operations group. Want to take a minute. I'm glad you mentioned Memorial Day. I want to take a minute to talk about our business and the forecast for the next few weeks. Our business right now is stronger than it's ever been. Week after week, we're having to turn down loads, turn down opportunities due to the fact that we just don't have enough drivers out there. We can use any and all qualified, safe drivers that we can get. So if you guys know anybody, Northeast, Chicago area, down in the Southeast for the tanker division, we can use those drivers. If you're qualified to be a trainer, we have opportunities. We have trainees that we need to get placed. Talk to your fleet manager, get in, get certified. As long as, like I said, as long as you're safe and qualified to be one, we need you. On the business front, looking forward, you know, most holidays in the tanker division, business slows down. Your major holidays, your Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, business slows down. So if you're going home to be with your family, or if you're going home because you're needed at the house next weekend, I understand that. Enjoy that time. But if you're planning on going home just because in the past freight has been slow during the holidays, that's not the case. We will get you loads. We have a forecasting system, and we have our loads, and we see what's in there, and we're already overbooked next week. So please, if you don't have to go home or don't need to go home, stay out there. You got wheels on those trucks for a reason. We'll move you to the freight. We'll get you taken care of, and we'll get you moving. That's really all I have. Have a safe Memorial Day weekend. There's going to be a lot of cars out on the road. I'll be down in Savannah next week, so maybe I'll see some of those tanker drivers and reefer drivers down there. Thank you for all you do.
I have one question.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem.
Natalie said, can you ask Brett if they can put a porta potty at Savannah since we aren't allowed to use the restroom there?
Well, that's the reason I'm going down next week. We are going to open that back up. All of the staff down there has gotten the vaccine. We feel safe. So that is going to open back up next week while I'm down there. We're going to do a little barbecue, have some burgers, some hot dogs, and welcome you all back.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jim Wilkins. I work with Flatbed and Tanker Group. You know, it just amazes me how smart people are that we have working here. I've listened this morning and been very impressed with some of the stuff that's being said and the support group that we have for all of you out there, and we appreciate that. You know, there's a couple things I wanted to mention this morning, and Brett talked a little bit about it. Business conditions are extremely robust. A lot of opportunity. Last week in Flatbed, we turned down more loads than what we hauled. So there's a great deal of opportunity there. The outlook is good. Last week, and just to talk a little bit about teams, last week, our teams, after all expenses, made between $3,200 and $3,300. And that's a little over half of what our solos made. So if you're interested in being involved in our driver development program, you might want to consider that. There's a lot of opportunity financially for you there to improve your standings there. The second thing that I wanted to mention was, we talk about health and driver fitness. And I don't know if you guys have seen this article in Prime Ways. We have an associate out in Salt Lake that impressed me as I read that his article. Matt Judy is his name. He's our health and fitness trainer out there. And he talks about, how important your health is. And it kind of struck a chord with me, as a young man. When I came to Prime, I weighed 165 pounds. And I could have run 10 miles without any problem at all. I huff and puff right now just walking up the stairs. So, he talks about as we get older and as we live our lives, we're sedentary. We sit around a lot, driving a truck, you sit around a lot. Sitting at a desk, you sit around a lot. So he says, man, when you get old, like when you're 60 or older, sometimes that can catch up with you and create problems. And so, one thing that I'm going to do is try to focus a little bit more on that, watch what I eat, and try to get in a little bit better shape. And I'd encourage you to do the same. As far as the upcoming holiday, I could ditto what Brett said. If you want to go home to be with your family, we'll do all we can to support that. But we do want you to know that there is plenty of business out there to keep you busy. If you do go through the house, let us try to load you through the house. And that way, when you leave the house, you'll have something to deliver and hopefully turn in for payroll that week. The last thing I just want to say again, thank you for what you do. We appreciate what you do. We had a customer advisory board meeting a few weeks ago, and the customers are so, I guess, proud of what you guys do. They couldn't say enough good things about the service that we give them, and they really appreciate what you do. And we feel the same way here as well. And that's about it, unless there's any questions.
No hard questions.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jim Guthrie in the refrigerated operations area. I would echo Jim's comments about health, fitness. Very, very good insight there. Very important for everybody out there. On the reefer division, I won't be redundant, but I would just mention to you, our customers really need our support this time of the year. We're coming into late spring, early summer, and demand is super strong for food products to get to the shelves. There's still a slack in the industry with labor problems, with driver shortages and capacity problems. So there's a ton of demand to get inventory and stocks replenished and even get shelves stocked from where they're at right now. So, into next week and into Memorial Day, demand will be very strong. And then after Memorial Day, I would ask you to think about how much you can make yourself available for the month of June. June's traditionally one of the very best months in the refrigerated division, year after year. It's a very important month for us into the quarter, and kind of the start of the summer going into July 4th. And so there's always a lot of demand from customers for these other reasons that I've described, to get food products out for the different events going on around the country. It's kind of an exciting time right now because we're starting to reopen around the country. A lot of positive momentum, a lot of positive things going on, and so we rely on your services more than ever, and our customers do as well, and they really appreciate what you're doing for them. Certainly, we expect to see even increased demand from where we're at right now for these next several weeks. So would ask you to think about how you can make yourself available the most days possible in June. After we get through next week, that'll be very important for us going forward. Andrea, you have a question?
One question. Johnson's Logic said, why does sales continually tie up team trucks on solo loads and refusing for us to drop on yards or reporter to a solo truck?
Well, that's a pretty loaded question there. What I would ask is, maybe give your fleet manager a call or give me a call. And let's look and see what the incident or the load that you're talking about is. I'll tell you this: the demand for teams is super strong. The demand for all of our services is super strong, and so we're definitely far from perfect. But by and large, our teams are really very productive on a revenue basis and on a mileage basis. So if there's something where we had a problem with the customer, we had a problem with the load, we'll definitely make it right for you. So if you get your fleet manager on the phone, get myself or Stan Allman, Jason Seymour on the phone, we'll look at the situation and take care of it. Okay. So we're going into the weekend. It's a very busy weekend. Probably going to be a lot of people out there. We're starting to see a lot more four-wheelers on the road. As we know, safety is number one. So everybody, please be safe and appreciate what you do. Thank you.
We talked at the very beginning of the meeting about our goal of June 4th to return to our live meetings back in the Millennium Building in the cafeteria. And I can tell you, the two people that are the most anxious that we get back to these live meetings are our next two speakers. Robert Lowe, our president and founder. It's important to Robert that he look the drivers in the eye each Friday, answer their questions, talk to them face to face. In the past, before COVID, we'd have the PSD folks come in and they would be there, and that would be their first taste of Prime, that Friday morning meeting. And Steve can get back at 11 o'clock Thursday night from a sales call, and I guarantee you he will be in that meeting. I think he draws strength from those meetings. I don't know how he does it. So I'm going to ask Robert and Steve to come up. If you have questions, get them in, because we'll get to them.
Fumble. Thing doesn't want me to talk. Hang on here just a minute.
Reach over us a little
Well, you always try to hog the center here. Okay. Now, can I start?
Yes.
May I? First of all, Steve is exactly right. We are all jacked up about getting back up in the cafeteria and seeing our drivers, you all face to face, and taking questions live, real live. So it's forthcoming. I know Steve's gotten tired of me carping on it. But we want to do the right thing safety-wise as well. Man, we've had a great group of speakers. Jay guys coming down here and sharing their story. And I don't know which one of the Messics is smarter. How did we get them both? I don't know how we did that. But
we paid them a lot of money, Steve. I can tell you something.
Well, we'll let that go on. I think Brett and Jim touched on this holiday coming up, and we have never seen freight demand as it is. 13,000 loads declined last week. So all I'm saying is if you choose not to go home, we'll keep you busy. We'll keep you running. Appreciate all you do. Robert, you go ahead.
Well, good morning. It's good to see you all. Is this the last one we're going to do? Second to the last. Okay. It's next Thursday at midnight. Masks come off in the terminal. So we're going to have a mass burning party. Let me tell you something. We're so damn glad to get rid of those things. Wow. But you all done a fantastic job through the pandemic. We're definitely on the backside of it. Maybe not completely out of the woods, but we're getting darn close, and it's very much welcome.
One thing I wanted to mention, we have so many of our vendors on site. And I was speaking to a driver this week asking about, it's a new truck. What kind of warranties do I have? And what happens if I get out there and have a problem? Well, I suggested that they get up there and talk directly to one of those vendors and get a straight answer. So I want you to use the support we have. The other thing I would say is do not be a victim. If you are having a problem with a load or layover or pay or anything like that, do not just get on Facebook and talk about it. We can handle it. Just get on the phone with your fleet manager to start with first, work through with him. If for whatever reason you don't feel like that's reasonable, we'll just move it up the ladder. We're going to solve the problem. That's what we're all about. Honestly, it might not always be the answer you want to hear, but it will be consistent with our policy and practices. So all I would suggest to you, do not be a victim. Please talk to us. Let us have a chance to fix issues and make things better. We've done all the wrong stuff early on, right, Robert? We've been around here a day or two. So we kind of tried to take the bumps out of the road for you, and we'll continue to do that. We just need to know where the hangups or the rubs are. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Freight, I've been in this business, you said, a while, 51 years, and I've never seen a marketplace like this. But what we want to do is get in here, capture this market share at these kind of rates, and then hold on. The way we do that is through size and strength, doing the right things, being safe, picking up and delivering on time. That's our objective right now. And you all have been our best asset. Absolutely phenomenal service and availability through this thing. And we're going to be rewarded for it. We've got some presence in the marketplace, and we're going to take advantage of it. We're getting stronger with our customers. They mentioned, someone mentioned customer advisory. It was powerful. I've never gotten such kind comments. I think they need trucks, Steve.
Yeah, I'd say that's the answer. And I think they were very kind to us as well. And that is because you all have done your part as far as staying out and giving service. The goal for us is to continue to grow our fleet size, to broaden our footprint in the industry. As Robert said, it's a great time to be in trucking. We just need to do more of it, give them good service. Our highest calling is safety. Never forget. You're the captain of the ship. Please always be safe. Thank you.
Thomas, I see you asking me that question. We're not 100%, but we're like Palmolive soap. They're the ones that's 99% pure. That we are going to have those traditional events again, and very soon. So stand by, and we will nail down those dates for you, but we're coming back.
Yeah, I think that's really all I have, other than the fact that we should take a moment to recognize our veterans. You all have paid the price for all of us, and we thank you for that. I appreciate you being part of the Prime family. And let's get out here and be safe and haul some really good high-paying freight. We appreciate y'all.
Let's do that.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you, Robert.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, we always love having Robert and Steve, and that's one of the things we really miss about having those events. I want to close with this, and Steve really talked about it, is we don't need to wait to have Sam Messick talk about fuel, or Susan talk about logs, or Justin Road Assist to hear that you have a problem with something. Let's take care of it when it's small. Every speaker that we have is available to you all the time if you have a problem. And if you feel something's wrong, let us take care of it. As Steve said, you may not like the answer, but at least we can discuss it with you, see what the problem is, and see if there is a good resolution to it. We don't want you out there fuming or thinking that we don't care about you. We've gotten big, there's no doubt about that, but we still have time for every driver and every issue that they have. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. We hit it just about at 1 hour exactly. If you like, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you hit the bell icon, you'll get notifications of new videos. Andrea and Mitch are putting a ton of videos out there based on your input. So one more time in the basement, we hope, and then back into the Millennium Building. Thank you, and please be safe out there. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in. Sorry you can't stay a little longer, but be sure to get at us next week. Bye, y'all.